Perhaps the biggest story of training camp is the return of quarterback Joe Flacco after suffering a torn ACL last season. Joe says that he's going to be out there on the field day one of training camp. Now, the question that I have for you, Ryan, are you at all worried that he won't be the same Joe when he gets out there on the field?
Nah. What's the best part about Joe Flacco? It's that big old right arm, right? I didn't see any injury suffered to the arm, so I'm not concerned about that. And he says his knee feels great right now. It feels even better when he's moving. So to me, that's a really good sign, and it's a great sign that he's going to be out there from the onset. I think that even his scrambling ability, which people undervalue about him, I think that's going to be totally fine. I mean, he says when he's out there cutting and doing all those things, he's totally okay doing that, and he didn't, once again, suffer the injury cutting. He got hit. So I don't really expect any kind of setback from Joe.
You know, we've said this before. From the time like a month after Joe had the injury, it looked like he was somebody that was never hurt. You know what I mean? Like, he's been moving around fine, and actually he's been throwing with his receivers over the course of the last several weeks. I talked with Kamar Aiken last week, and Kamar told me that the first day he went out there to throw with Joe, he was kind of expecting Joe to not be the exact same, maybe have a little bit less zip on the throws. But then he got out there and he said, he looks the exact same. I mean, he's got power, he's got velocity, he looks like nothing ever happened to him. He said midway through the workout, he forgot that Joe was hurt at all to begin with. So that, to me, gives me a lot of confidence that Joe's going to get out there, and all of us are going to look at him and say, I didn't even realize he was hurt.
There's a lot of confidence because in his return, in this whole process, we've gotten lots of little updates and we've seen the progress. There's still one thing that's been untested, and that's having somebody in his face, because that's how he got hurt. He got hurt. He got hurt by getting hit, and even Flacco admitted that he's curious to see how he responds when people are there. And
There's no pressure with Kamar Aiken, throwing the Kamar Aiken.
Yeah, exactly. You're in the backyard and nobody's coming at you, maybe some wind. So then he's got this also new offensive line on the left side. And so that gives you two hurdles. And even Flacco admitted that he's curious to see how he responds when they're in his face. And you don't want to see a Joe Flacco, because we've seen it before, throwing off his back foot. He becomes more inaccurate, a little bit more erratic. We don't want him to have two major hurdles to overcome when the season starts. So hopefully all is well, but to me that's a concern until he proves it's not a concern.
And I think that's the purpose of training camp. Yeah. He's going to get pressure in his face now. They won't be hitting him.
Yeah, but that's the thing in training camp. He's got the black jersey on, and they stay about 10 feet away from him. If they if they get too close and they breathe on him, then Harbaugh's going to be down the throat and say, don't get close to that guy.
But I think that's why you have to get Joe Flacco a little game time. A little preseason game time, exactly. I think Terrell Suggs, Steve Smith, they don't need it. Joe Flacco needs a little preseason game time just to get that pressure and get somebody coming at his leg a little bit.
All right, well, you know we're going to be talking about Joe Flacco all summer long, and as soon as he gets out there on the practice field that first day, you know that we're going to bring you guys the video. So for everything related to the Ravens, make sure that you keep it right here.